Shabbat Shalom. What a great morning it has been. I have felt very inadequate as a singer this morning. The voices have been so beautiful, and that is just a time to just sit back and let the beautiful voices just rise. It is a talent that I just don't have, but one that I just so appreciate. The family bringing and harmonizing with the Chazan and Raphael as well. Really, what a wonderful morning to be hearing and listening to these prayers. I was really taken by Luca's focus on being greatness, on the topic of greatness. That also resonated with me this morning and this week, and so I'm going to go in a slightly different direction, but I love that we are focusing on the same things. If you want to look, we're on page 70 of the Chumash, Genesis chapter 12. I'll just read it so we're all metaphorically on the same page. So God says to Avram, "Go forth from your native land and from your father's house to the land that I will show you. I will make of you a great nation." Okay, that's number one. I will bless you. That's number two. I will make your name great as well. And number four is, and you shall be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you and curse the ones who curse you, and all the families of the earth shall bless themselves by you. So I'm very interested in this idea of greatness. And to be completely transparent, I'm interested in it because there is someone in town that lives downtown that talks about making America great often. And so we should understand what greatness is, not by the president's definition of it, but by our definition of what greatness is. It is one of these things that it is in the landscape, it is in the air, but it is without definition. So it's perfect for pundits to go off in any direction that they want. But I think that as religious figures of people of faith, that we should understand at least what the Bible says about greatness. I want this to be a discussion, a back and forth, to share ideas. So to prep you, if that's not your custom of wherever you go and worship, get yourself to be brave and courageous and to say something, that we are teachers of each other. So I look forward to hearing. So what is a great nation? A goy gadol. I mentioned a midrash before. It's a wonderful midrash on this parsha from Bereshit Rabbah, that this rabbi, Rabbi Chia, points out that in what I just read, it says there are 3 greatnesses and 4 blessings. Just numerically, he counts them up. He says there are 3 greatnesses and 4 blessings that are written here. And God appraised Avram that there would be 3 patriarchs and 4 matriarchs there. Okay, so this is the Midrash is just giving us at a basic level, what does this text say? He notices that there's three greatness and 3 blessings, and therefore it must be an allusion to what we will learn later, that there are 3 patriarchs and 4 matriarchs in it. It adds up to 7, which is a mystical number in Judaism. I always love 7. There's the 7 wrappings of the tefillin on our arm. There's 6 days of creation and Shabbat, so 7 days of creation. And the rabbis even here have found that magic of 7 in here as well. But great, how would you define a great nation? It might be the easiest to just start off with, in common parlance today, because if you're from someplace else, we're in that metaphoric beltway, right, where the swamp is. We're actually in the beltway. We're in that beltway. It is not a swamp anymore, and the people in here do incredible work for our federal government, which is shut down. So welcome into the beltway of Washington, D.C. So what is a great nation? Yeah. Jeff says it's a country that has moral authority and takes care of people. Great, thanks, Jeff. Moral authority.
It's multifactorial, but I was going to say a nation that is compassionate.
A nation that is compassionate. It has different angles to it, but compassionate, more based in morals and acts on them. Yeah. Other thoughts? Yeah. Benevolence. Say more about benevolence. Giving and kindness, a benevolent. Great. Jeff.
The first thing I thought of was the words from the Pirkei Avot, is the Mashiach, Hasameach B'Chagor.
Jeff is saying that he thought of the Pirkei Avot, who is rich, he that's content with their portion.
In terms of greatness, I would define a great nation as one who makes the conditions for others to become great.
Great. So greatness is a nation or a person or a group that sets the conditions for others to become great. So I think you're adding the sense of lifting others up. Okay, great. Yeah, way in the back. Yes. A nation that is loving. A nation that is loving. These are great answers. And then there's a hand over here someplace. Oh, yes.
Responsibility of their citizens towards their families and HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Responsibilities of the citizenry of the country towards each other and also to God. Great. So this is terrific. I'm not going to have to use any more as on my pages here. So all the way in the back, we're going to go Debbie and then Greg and then Nancy. Yeah. Rule of law. Great. Rule of law and fairness is what I picked up. Great. Greg? Cohen? Nurtures our free will in the same way that God nurtures, I think you said. God nurtures our free will, but God bestows free will on us. So, and that means free will to do whatever, to make our own mistakes, too. Yeah, Chazan, and then Nancy. Chazan?
Yes, not to differentiate between Jews and non-Jews.
Not to differentiate between Jews and non-Jews. Right, the Torah says that there is one law of the land for all. Right, great, thank you. Wait, Nancy, and then over here. That the population is healthy and happy, and I'm a little disappointed knowing you that you didn't also say takes a responsibility for the environment. See, you don't even have to say it anymore. You have taught me so much. And then, yes.
Welcomes others who are in need.
Welcomes others who are in need. These are tremendous attributes of greatness, right? And then one, I hope your hand gets better because I see you in your cast. So yes, last comment, and then I want to move on, please. Peaceful, not conflict, to be able to solve conflict. Yeah, it's so interesting because the way that greatness is being used today is different than what we just talked about, right? There's a masculinity about this greatness that's being talked about in the newspapers, right? It's about strength. It is about asserting your ability onto others, and it's about excluding others, which is not really what we talked about here. That there is, the Midrash continues, it says that there are 4 people whose images appear on coins that circulated throughout the world. Right? This is representative of that whose name were these are such incredible people that their names spread throughout the entire world. Their name was great. One was, and some of these we could pick, biblical characters. One was Abraham, makes sense that we're here. And the Midrash, interestingly, goes into what was on each side of the coin. So what's the word for a coin collector? Yes, I never get that one right. A numismatist? Okay, close enough. Yes. If you were one of them, A, you could pronounce it, and 2, you might be interested in this Midrash. So what was on each side of this coin in the Midrash? But I won't go into those details. So it was Abraham. You could imagine his greatness. It was Joshua. He was the one that led us into the promised land. Moses didn't. Joshua did. It was King David. Was one of the 4 whose name and reputation spread out. And the 4th one I loved, and I would never have come up with it. It was Mordecai from the book of Esther, right? That Mordecai was one whose name was spread throughout. And so our names are being great, kind of like Abraham, Joshua, David, and Mordecai, each, I think, exhibiting the characteristics that you came up with of kindness and of inclusion, of passion, and I would also say of pride of who they are. It is possible to be proud of who you are without giving up. It is possible to be proud of who you are without excluding others. I just want that to sink in because, again, that doesn't seem to be what we are doing enough of in the country right now. Proud of who you are without excluding others. But Abraham, Joshua, David, and Mordecai all exhibited some of those. I agree that greatness is about ethical and moral leadership. Rabbi Jonathan Sacks says Judaism entered the world as a moral voice. It did so from the very beginning, from its account of creation itself, that we just 2 weeks ago read that said, God said, "Let there be," and there was, and God saw that it was good. Right? So right from the very beginning, an ethical analysis of the world was put into our text. The emphasis, Sacks continues, the emphasis is on the word good. This is the language of morality, not of myth, nor is it science. Physics and chemistry do not speak about the goodness of the cosmos, yet the Torah does, and for a reason. It wants us to know that there is a moral dimension to existence. Goodness is not something we invent. It is part of the text and texture of life as seen through the eyes of faith. So reflecting on greatness is therefore essential for us to understand how and what to be in this world as individuals, as a community, as a nation, because the promise that God gives to Avram is for greatness. And that includes the greatness and moral foundation of faith. So President George Washington's farewell address, 1796. Not many of you were around for that. So 1796, here I'm just bringing 2 parts of it. You'll decide if it resonates for today or not. It is important, likewise, that the habits of thinking in a free country should inspire caution in those entrusted with its administration to confine themselves within their respective constitutional spheres, avoiding in the exercise of the powers of one department to encroach upon another. He says, be careful, branches of government, don't encroach on the other branches of government. The spirit of encroachment tends to consolidate the power of all the departments in one, and thus to create whatever the form of government, real despotism, George Washington says. And he continues to our point about moral leadership. Whatever may be conceded to the influence of refined education of minds of peculiar structure, reason and experience both forbid us to expect that national morality can prevail in exclusion of religious principles. It is substantially true that virtue or morality is a necessary spring of popular government. So what we generated in these ideas of us being a great nation because we are great in our commitment to virtue, that is essential to good governance, George Washington says. Our commitment to including the stranger, of extending kindness to, as we're on the first day of not feeding the hungry in our country, as the benefits expired, which is a problem of our collective leadership, not a single party or another. It is our collective brokenness of our leadership. So greatness is not cutting off food from the needy people, or greatness is not instilling fear of the poor, or the stranger, the orphan. Greatness is not dividing the nation. God's blessing for Abraham has yet to be fulfilled, but I believe it is our aspiration, and we will find the path to achieve it. As the Jewish people and as America, we will be a great nation again, and our name will be great again, and we will model that greatness for others. Shabbat Shalom.